You're listening to She's the Business podcast. And welcome back to the podcast. Today we've got part 3 of my special series called Master Your Marketing, where I'm taking you behind the scenes on what it takes to have a thriving school hours business. And today is the final day of this. And so we're going to be sharing with you the remaining ingredients, so that by the end, you'll have the complete recipe for a flourishing business. I almost couldn't say that in one piece. A flourishing business in just 20 hours a week. You'll know how to attract 5-star clients consistently so that you're booked with high-value work that's really excites you, and you're not left running on the marketing treadmill, working really, really hard to pump out lots of content and getting nowhere. Today's episode is the final in this series. So if you haven't yet seen part 1 and 2 or heard part 1 and 2, please go back and listen to the last 2 episodes. You'll hear part 1 and 2. And if you haven't yet registered, so that you get my special workbook that goes along with this training and the extras and goodies. We've also got a Facebook group that's really fun. We've got people engaged in there and having a great chat along with the content. I'm in there too, giving some extra value and coaching. So if you'd like all of that, then please pop your name down. Go to jessicaosborne.com/masteryourmarketing, get on the list so that you can get access to our special group, the download, the replays, everything that's happening behind the scenes. And otherwise, if you just want to listen in today, then stay tuned. It's coming right up. Hi, I'm your host, Jessica Osborne, and in my 23 years of business and marketing, I've built many brands to become multi-billion-dollar companies. And just in the last 10 years, I've built 2 online businesses of my own from my dining room table with 2 little babies running around at my feet. I've made it my mission to inspire you to get out of your own way and become the successful business owner who's living the lifestyle you really desire without all the hustle. This is She's the Business podcast, made by women for women. This is your weekly dose of motivation and inspiration. If you've done parts 1 and 2 already and you're joining me for part 3, that's fantastic. Let me know how you got on with parts 1 and 2, and has there been anything that you feel has had a huge impact just in the way that you're thinking about your business, I guess. So let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to hear where you're at, which is good. And I'll get started in just a moment. I'm going to got a little tea here because I felt like I was going to lose my voice, but I'm determined that I'm not. So I've got a nice herbal tea with ginger and honey to help my voice make it through this session today. Super hot. Right. So I'm going to share my screen while we're just waiting for a couple more people to join us. So, hey guys. Hey, Shannon. You need to be more targeted in your marketing. Yes, well, that is the very, very essential key to good marketing is really being more targeted. Absolutely. So that's a really great insight to have gained from this so far. It does make all the difference. And I think you'd just be amazed at how different it can feel, how much easier it can feel when you take that time just to get more clear and specific. And so your marketing, what you're doing is really landing with the right people. It makes a huge, huge difference. And it's a hard thing to explain. I think it's like when you might have been working in your office or in the kitchen and suddenly someone turns the light on and you're like, that's so much better. I can actually see. And you didn't realize that you couldn't see before because you were just in there doing what you were doing, and then suddenly you realize that it had actually got really dark and you couldn't see, and it was so much harder, whereas now the light's on, it's just so much easier. It just feels a lot like that. And that's that's I guess what you're only going to know once you've got that light switch turned on. So it's kind of like that thing that's so hard to explain how much easier it does get once you get specific. Hey, Christy, good to see you. So part 3 today, we are talking about the complete recipe for booking 5-star clients consistently, creating that profitable school hours business. So we're going to cover the last 3 ingredients of the 5 ingredients in that recipe today. So there is a bit to get through. It is the easier way to, attract those clients consistently. This is really what this is all about. If I break down what this whole series is about, and really my whole approach to business in general, it's about making it easier, being more streamlined, and not doing it the hard way. There's so many people out there doing things the way that's making it harder on themselves, more time consuming, more effort, more energy expended for little result, whereas you can have much bigger, easier results if you just get these few pieces in place and get them working together. And so that's really what the whole premise of this entire series is. I want you to be able to grow profits without adding more time to your day, so that you have school hours business that, some people feel like it's pipe dream, but it absolutely is not. It is completely possible for anybody who's got a service-based business where you're offering services, you're working online, you've got the ability to create that business to be whatever it is that you want for your life. Now, if you haven't yet, just before I continue, I guess if you haven't done parts 1 and 2 and you're watching this maybe on replay or listening in on replay, please pause this now and go back to part 1, because what I'm going to go through will make so much more sense when you have already been through part 1 and 2. You've got the first 2 ingredients, because they're really setting up 2 of the most important essential keys. And what we're going to go through today is a lot more in some of the things that you might already be doing or seeing, but I'm going to explain what the mistakes are that a lot of people are making and why they're so important to address it in the way that I'm going to explain to you, so that they connect together and it all works together as one system, one recipe to create an amazing cake or jam or whatever you want to be making. You need to get those ingredients right. It's not just about having the ingredients, it's about the right quantities and putting them together in the right way to get that outcome. So I think let's go into a little bit of a recap on yesterday. Not yesterday, it was Wednesday. I've lost a whole day there. So operating from a place where they've got a revenue ceiling. So these are sort of the mistakes that I see a lot of people are making. With a revenue ceiling, that means that, you're either just charging based on time, 1-to-1 hourly rate, and that means that you've got a capacity problem, a capacity ceiling, and it gives you very limited potential. The next one is creating services based on what they think that the market wants. And that type of approach is just going to see you chasing your tail and always be out there doubting yourself, doubting that is what I'm offering really what the market wants. Oh, I see people over there doing that and I could do that too. You can see how this can leave you in this place of being scattered and literally chasing the market, chasing your tail the whole time, trying to find out what that is that you should be doing, when really you already have the answer. The answer's already inside you, and it is what you do best. It is where you know, and you'll know when you know it, because you get that feeling of like, oh, this is exactly it. This is what I'm meant to be doing. This is my thing. And it doesn't matter what everyone else is out there doing, because there's a space and a place for everybody. And it's about you taking the lead on what you want to be doing, what you want to create, what lights you up, so that you've got that business, because you're only going to be successful when you're doing the thing that you're amazing at, you're incredible, and you're enjoying yourself. Because think about just the difference in what you bring to your business every day and to your clients when it's something that you love versus something that you just think is going to make you money. There's a massive difference in your approach, your energy, even just how you present to clients, how you even speak to them, when it's something that you're leveraging your your key skill set and your speciality. Now, often, and I think I talked about this on Wednesday, some of us are really multi-talented, multi-skilled, and that might feel like a huge grey area to you. Some people know straight away what their specialty is. Others are like, oh, there's so many things I could do. What is it? And I 100% know what that's like because I was there as well. That just means that you've got more of a little process to work through in nutting that out. And, I have the steps for that, which is, it does take a bit of time. There are lots of questions and different ways that we can deep dive in so that we can finally uncover that thing and what it is for you. Another mistake I see people making is pricing low to compete in the market. And when you're in that competitive place where you're competing on price, and the word low is kind of the key here. You're low, you're at the bottom of the market. And how is that ever going to create the business that you want when you're operating at that level? When you're feeling like you've got to compete against others to win clients and you're scrapping for these scraps, why not raise above all of that and set yourself in your own space where you can be attracting the 5-star clients? Wouldn't that just be so much easier, so much more refreshing? Rather than working hard to attract these low level, it's usually high maintenance for low pay when you're at that place competing on price. And it really just means that's a key that you haven't yet discovered what your unique value is. Because if you're competing on price and you're thinking that's why people are buying from you, then it's just a sign that you haven't yet evolved to the place where you're competing on your value. And really, do we need to compete at all? Like, I have no idea what my competitors are doing or even who I would name as a competitor because I don't need to be. I'm in my own lane, I'm doing my thing, and I'm attracting the people who need me. And whatever anyone else is doing, they're doing, and that's absolutely fine. I don't need a piece of their pie, I've got my own. And I think that that's a really healthy place to be in as a business owner because you don't need to be expending that energy trying to combat things that you see out there. There's such an abundance of business and of people needing every service. It's about finding your people, and you just need to dial into you in order to do that. So if you are more spreading yourself thin over many offerings, yes, and I'm going to get a little bit more into that today. Having a resource-intensive structure needing lots of admin and systems. So these two are very linked. So when you've got many different offerings, it creates a resource-intensive structure. So, think about how you're building your business and your strategy for it. Are you creating a lean, streamlined business that's going to be easy to run in school hours? Or are you creating a really resource-intensive business with lots of different offerings that are going to need more people, more time, more systems, more processes, and all of that admin just to keep it running? You can do either. And there are some very successful businesses that do have a resource-intensive structure, but they're in this volume space. And I would say that their growth rates and profit margins are much lower than the businesses who nail the lean approach, who don't have that capacity ceiling, who don't have the resource ceiling and needing more people even to manage the people who are doing the work. That's really your choice in the style of business that you build. But what I very much promote is the lighter, leaner, easier one, because why not? Why don't we want to make our lives easier? For me, that's just complete logical sense, especially right now. We've got so much value over the quality of life that we have. And I think every parent, if you're a parent like me, you don't want to be missing out on these important years. You don't want to be like, well, one day when I've made it, then I'll have time to spend with my kids. Well, by then they might be grown up. So why don't we just want to do that now? And you can. The other mistake is, and I think, again, this is connected to the previous two, low lifetime value with no flow of services means that you're always in this pressured state trying to win new clients. And when people are really focused on bringing in, they're often not focused on who's already there. And these are your low-hanging fruit. They're by far the easiest way to keep your business going and growing is to be leveraging what's already come in. And yes, we do want to have a lovely flow of new, new, fresh people coming into the business, but you don't need a massive one. What type of business is it that you really have? I'm sure that you don't need thousands or even hundreds or maybe even 50, you don't need lots to be working with your high quality 5-star clients. You're going to need very low volume, really, which is great. How empowering and uplifting does that feel to think, I don't need to stress about it because I don't need all of those people. The few who have nailed this 6-figure school hours business, they know that to earn more in less time needs to be specialized so that they can stand out as that respected authority. Create your own space where you can play, where people know what it is that you do and they know that they want to work with you. And that attracts the 5-star high-value clients, and you can absolutely choose them. You can choose the best clients. You don't have to take just any client who's walking in your door. And that means you're able to avoid price competition and you can charge premium rates. But I guess you're probably now wondering, okay, that's all good. And I get how those two pieces of the puzzle work together, which we've been over in part 1 and 2. But how do I actually price my services at that premium level? This is a really common block. How do I get in front of those 5-star clients? Now that I know who they are, that I want to work with, how do I actually get them to find me and to come and want to work with me? So how do you convert the audience into customers? Get consistent sales, not just sporadic sales, which might leave you kind of relying on referrals, which we know it's like putting all of your eggs in someone else's basket and saying, hey, if you're going to rely on referrals and you're relying on somebody else to be giving you your revenue for your business. And revenue is what every business needs to survive. So we don't want to have that in someone else's, have that in their hands. You want to have that control in your own hands. And how do I create better flow between my services to improve retention? And all of this without increasing your work hours. Yes, that is the ultimate key, isn't it? Because often you might think, I know how to do all this stuff, but I just don't have time. And that's why all of these things, when we bring them together in this way, it does allow you to do it all within the time that you've got allocated. So the first two pieces of the puzzle, we had specialization with your niche and your service alignment and the service offering, the first two ingredients, of your jam plan. But by the end of today's session, you can have the complete recipe and for a thriving 6-figure plus school hours business, where you're working with those 5-star clients that excite you and have more time for yourself and your family. So instead of adding more services, the resources, the time, you can have that one aligned model. And that means that you can have one simple message which helps you build a stronger reputation, a streamlined process, increase your customer lifetime value, and have a lower cost of sales. Now, yesterday we talked through this one aligned model. So you've got really one core premise and one main offering. Now, I'm showing you the basic format of my business, where in the middle, my course, my business jam, is really a program because it does have a coaching element along with it as well. That is my main offering. And so that's one main offering that I talk about. And that's what I talk about a lot. It's not the only thing I offer. Of course, I have these other layers there that people can do. But when people come to my business, they're getting one much stronger message because I've got one core premise. And really all of the ways that you work with me are based on this premise. There's just different options and methods of how you might work with me. I gave you a little bit of homework on day 2 on Wednesday, or maybe it was Tuesday night if you guys were in the Northern Hemisphere. And that homework was to think about what is your main offering and what might be a pre-offer or a post-offer, so that you could create this kind of connection and flow of your services within one aligned model. So let me know. I know that there were a few of you who posted in the group of ideas that you had for your service offerings. Let me know how you got on. Does that make sense to you? Do you feel like that's an easy concept to think about? And have you had any realizations since? Like maybe you already have these services, but you hadn't thought about how they're connecting together. Let me know in the comments. So, making it easier, and I've touched on this a little bit already today, but I think that this, when I break it down like this, it just makes a lot more sense and makes numbers actually seem not quite as scary either. So when we're talking about, a six-figure business, six-figure plus, really to get six figures, you don't even need 10K a month. You can have less than 10K, because if you're doing 10K a month, then that's 120K in a year. So let's just say 10 for argument's sake, because it's an easy number to imagine. Now, making it easier, you can get 10K a month. Say if you've got a $5,000 service offering, you can have 2 clients at $5,000. You could have 5 clients, my math wasn't good then, 5 clients at $2,000, or just imagine if you're trying to get 100 clients at $100. All of those make up 10,000. And obviously there's lots of different other ways you could cut it up. As you can see, the lower your price you're charging for something, the higher volume you need. And imagine the difference in what you need to do to get 100 clients to buy something from you at $100 versus, 5 clients at $2,000. Even 10 clients at $1,000. So think about with your business and your capacity and what it is that you do, what is that pricing level going to look like for you? Wouldn't you rather be having less clients but having higher value, higher quality clients? Does it feel easier for you? And having lots of clients at a lower level. Now, if we go up and think, wow, imagine if your goal was 30K a month, what would that look like? Well, you break that down, it could just be 3 clients at $10,000 each, or 6 clients at $5,000 each. And if you had a $300 product, you would need 100 clients a month. So this is what I feel is why this whole idea around making it easier and having a thriving business within school hours. It's absolutely why specializing, becoming that respected authority, making an offering and a service offering to work with 5-star high-value clients makes your life easier. And do you agree? Do you see how this could make your business feel easier? If you knew without a doubt that you could sell something at $5,000, you could get 2 clients and make 10K a month. You could get 6 clients, make 30K a month. Can you see how that would feel easier than trying to find 100 clients to buy something at $100 a month just to make 10K? Now, usually when we're talking about pricing, there is a lot of hesitation, and doubts on, well, I'm not sure if I'm ready yet, if I can charge that amount, if I can actually do that sort of premium pricing. And you might be thinking one of these questions. What if I can't raise my prices because it's too competitive in my market? And this is a valid concern, and it's one that I've had many clients, especially in Business Jam, who've had this exact question, felt like they were trapped, that they can't raise the prices because that's what everybody else is doing. The thing is that, do you want to be compared on price or not? Like, do you want to be someone who's competing on price? And the best way not to compete is to develop an offering that's different to what others are doing. You don't have to follow the exact format that everyone else is doing in your industry. You can say, well, what would it look like if I was to create something at this level? What would it look like to have an offer at that level, that amount. So rather than thinking about what is already out there and, really being driven and drawn by what other people are doing, thinking, well, this is what I want to create. This is how much I want to earn and charge. What do I need to offer or do or have to make it worth that amount, to make it even worth more than that amount, so that it's an absolute no-brainer for that customer to buy that service from me because they can see the value is incredible. Alexandra was one of the Business Jam alumni that I have spoken about, and she had this exact same problem because she was a voice artist, and if you know about how they work, usually they're charging by the minute for their time to voice things, and usually you get given a catalogue to go through and choose someone that you like the sound of to be your voice. And so they're treating themselves as a person providing a service, kind of like a product, and a very commodity-based way. And that's how the entire industry is doing it. But working through this process, she realized that what her real value was not just as a voice that someone could buy, like they buy a product off a shelf, but actually to help a company figure out what their brand voice sounded like and come up with a strategy for their brand voice. And then to work with that brand to have a consistent voice through all of their mediums. So she went from being someone who was trying to get chosen for minute-based projects to voice something here, something there, always for someone different, to being able to work strategically with very few clients and to voice all of their work, to help them actually, really leverage into their brand strategy and add that voice element into the brand strategy. Now, that was an incredible, it took a lot of guts for her because no one did it. And she actually said to me, people who she told about what she was doing in her industry laughed at her, thought she was hilarious. You're doing something that no one's doing. Why would you do that? But by the time she finished Business Jam, she had increased her revenue. She'd increased it by 300% within 90 days. She made her entire previous year's revenue in the first 3 months of this new financial year. And by December, she's already halfway through smashing her 5-year joint savings goal with her husband because she was able to rethink how she was doing it and instead of competing with everyone else on price, create something that wasn't competing with them at all. Now, another question that was on that page is, what if I choose a niche and it's less profitable? So this is often where you might be thinking, what if there's more demand or potential in another niche and I choose one that's the wrong one? Then I've gone and dug myself a grave by choosing the wrong niche, and it's one where it's not as beneficial. And so this stops people from picking a niche and also from really addressing their service offering because they think that they're needing to be competing with people on price and choosing a niche where, it's what everyone else is doing, then I can do the same. But I think, first of all, it is a valid thought because that is how we have traditionally thought about our business. You're not a tree, you're not stuck in a niche, so you can always move, and people do. However, I think that what probably the better question is can you even think of any niche where everybody prices the exact same rate? Can you think of any niche where everyone has the same profitability? And you probably can't, because in every single niche, no matter what it is, there are some people who are absolutely killing it. And there's other people who are struggling. And so what is it? Well, it's not about the niche. It's actually about them. It's the individual. And it's how they've put together their strategy, not just their service and their pricing, but the whole thing. So these 5 ingredients that we're going through in this training, the people who are doing really well have got that in order. They've got it aligned. They've got it optimized. They've got it working the way that they want to be working. And the people who haven't, who are not turning that profit, their strategy is not in order. And so it's not about whether you've chosen the right niche or not. It's actually about whether you've got your strategy aligned so that you can be profitable in whatever niche you choose. What if my services don't align into a streamlined model? So yes, you might be thinking that. Maybe you were struggling with that homework that I gave you and thinking, well, they're all separate at the moment. They're separate things, and that might be just how it is. It can be a good thing, because that means that now you can choose. You can choose which is your preferred service offering, which is going to be your one that you become known for, which is going to be your one core premise, your main offer. That is what you draw people to you for. Yes, you can always offer other services. You can have a secret menu. You can have things behind the scenes. You can have a next step that people do afterwards. It just makes your life easier the more streamlined you are. So it's really your choice. Do you want to make things easier for yourself, or do you want to make things more complicated and be trying to market, promote, and sell different offerings, which will all need different messaging and different, you're likely going to have different avatars for each different one. The more that you have, the more confusing your marketing is for anybody else who's looking at it, because they're not sure. They're not sure if this is right for them when you're trying to offer so many separate things. It's most like when you look around, you think the people who are really, really highly successful are generally known for one thing. And whether they offer other things or not behind the scenes, you might not know until you start working with them. But they have a very clear message, a very clear offering. And so people are clear and not confused in their mind about what it is that they do when they come to work with them. And that's why it's easy to get chosen, because you're really clear on it. And I just say, I guess, at the bottom here, how many of those top people in your space do you know who are a Jill of all trades? I can't think of any. It doesn't go hand in hand with being the most successful. So what if my service is always one-to-one time-based? How do I scale? So your scalable model is like when we talked yesterday about, I'm sorry, I keep saying yesterday. It feels like it was yesterday. In part 2, one of the examples that I gave was of Tanya, who was one of my Business Jam students, and she had consulting on culture, which is always one-to-one, and it's always a sort of a defined package working with that client. And she developed from that some really easy DIY digital offerings that she could provide to enable some scale. And it also not only created scale, but it enabled her to create her model, the model where she could bring people in through a much easier, smaller step in a lower cost digital offering. That then meant that she could pick and choose the sort of the leads out of it to come in to be one of her main clients. So there's different ways that you might offer, model your service and do your marketing, where she had that one core premise and she had a main offering. But a lot of what she's drawing people into as that first step was actually her low cost offer. And that made life a lot easier for Tanya. So, she was really able to get out of that place of thinking, well, how do I go out and find these huge, big client contracts? And she could create an audience, create a way for them to engage with her and to start, connecting with her through these lower cost offerings. And from there, it was very easy because the right people for the bigger projects really put up their hand to her, and that made her whole business a lot easier. She went from having no clients and not knowing how to get any to having a pool of prospects and a constant stream of the clients. But she didn't need many. She only needed one at a time to take on her main product, her main service offering. What if my clients offer something and I don't? Won't I be at a disadvantage? So this is often around, if you're reducing your offering down, maybe you've been in business a while and it's evolved and you've added on lots of different things and you're looking at, well, it makes sense to streamline and scale down. But what if my competitors are still offering those things? Won't I then be at a disadvantage? Well, can you think of anyone who's in your space that has a narrower scope, but is also more successful? It's not about how many services you offer. That's what a client chooses to work with you on. It's whether you're offering the thing that they want and that you're seen as that's what you do. That's what you specialize in. You're not going to go to your GP if you've got a problem with your eyes and your eyesight. You're going to think, well, I need to go to see the specialist. I'm going to go to the optometrist because I'm going to get a better answer from them. You don't trust that necessarily what your GP is going to tell you is going to be the best answer. So it's like the same in your business. It doesn't really matter what your competitors are offering. If they're choosing to be a Jill of all trades, fine, do that. But they're going to be seen as that generalist. Whereas if you want to create this place where you're the respected authority, then by narrowing down and actually thinking, well, this is the main thing that I do, and leading with it, helping people really see that's what you really specialize in, and that's where you get the best results. That helps people choose you because you're clearly standing out to them as the obvious choice. Now, another question I get is, what if my services are based on the customer's needs? So they're all different. So where you're in a place, but you're customizing your offering and your customers are all different. You think, I can't streamline this in or say it's just one thing because people have different needs. And this is where I love to help people kind of go on a bit of a journey within yourself. So instead of thinking, I'm here to service a client with whatever it is they need, think, well, okay, I know my clients. I know what I do. I know the outcome that they're looking for. So rather than have them tell me what they want and me create a service to deliver that, what if I figure out what that journey looks like to take them from where they are to where they want to be? And I actually tell them what the journey is. You become the trusted advisor. You become the leader. That's what a respected authority would do in the space, because you're the expert here. You're the one that knows what you're talking about and what you're doing. They're coming to you because they don't have those skills. They don't have that knowledge. They want someone to help them. They want someone to do it for them. And so while you're sitting back and expecting them to tell you what to do, you're not taking the lead. You're not stepping into those shoes as a respected authority. And when you do that, it becomes so much clearer and more simple. Amy was one of my Business Jam students from last year, and she had been working as a general virtual assistant. It was hard to compete. She was a VA. She was trying to get clients and what can I do? How can I help you? I can do all of this big, long list of things. But when she went through this process, she realized that what she loved and what she felt was something that lit her up and she was good at was helping people set up their Klaviyo systems. So this is really specific. Becoming a Klaviyo specialist for those e-commerce businesses, because it is an e-commerce platform, an email marketing platform for e-commerce. She was then suddenly super clear on exactly who her ideal client was. It's an e-commerce business owner who wanted to get started with email marketing. And she was able to position herself and get known really quickly that she's the Klaviyo girl. So, imagine how much easier that is for her to know how to identify her ideal client, how to be known, and how to be the obvious choice for someone who's thinking, right, I've got my store, now I need email marketing. I need someone to help me with this. And that just made her life 10 million times easier. And she's not only then able to attract clients in, but instead of, having services where she's charging by the hour just for her time to do whatever admin task someone wants, she's got packages where she can say, I can help you get set up. I can do it for you. I can do it with you. Or I can, give you some tools and templates and some know how to do it yourself. And she's able to give, she was able to create service offerings and structure around this one very specific thing. Now that we all see the opportunity with aligning services to attract the clients that you most want to work with, your question's probably, how do you actually get them coming to you? So we're now into number 3 in our 5 ingredients, and this is your brand and messaging. Now, brand is, I think, something that's really misinterpreted a lot of the time. And having been in marketing for, I say 23, it must be 24 years this year. It's been a real frustration for me over the years with even the companies that I've worked for, and people thinking brand is a logo, or brand is, it's just sticking a logo on things, having colors and fonts. It's absolutely not that. Like, that is part of your visual identity, but your brand is really what is giving your business a consistent style in the way that you're communicating. So whether it's visual, audio, if it's through pictures, whatever that is, you've got consistency. So it brings it together so that whatever you're putting out feels the same. It's got that same energy. It's got a style to it. That is your brand. It also normally aligns with your values. So, who you are as a company and what you stand for, which again comes through in your energy, your style, all of those things. So there's a strategic piece in, well, how do you bring out your energy, your style, your personality, your values into something visual? And there is a process that we go through to define that. But the piece that most people miss is messaging. And the messaging is actually how you communicate. The biggest mistake that I see the struggling business owners making is confusing copywriting with messaging. Copywriting is well-written words, and they use your brand style to show your personality. But messaging it's like copywriting on steroids. It's like taking those well-written words, but they're words that shift perspective, create desire for your offer, and address objections. And so it's messaging that most people are missing. They might have fantastic copy. And this is, I guess, a frustration that some business owners might feel when they've gone, well, I've gone and got some copy written. I've even had it professionally written. Why isn't it working? And it's usually because it might be great copy, but it's not necessarily great messaging. Messaging has that extra element. And this is taking it to that top level, which is what brings in your clients, what you need. And when you think about it, can you show me any successful leader who doesn't have powerful messaging, where when you read their stuff, it feels like the obvious logical choice? And because you're feeling like it's logical, you're not there making decisions or comparing it to something else. All of that, it's the logical choice. And that's because they've got great messaging. And so this isn't something that you see until you really understand what their messaging looks like. And then you see it everywhere. Then you're like, I see what they're doing. I see what they're doing here, because you're now aware of it. Most people aren't. And your clients don't need to be to buy from you. But when you have messaging, when you've got great messaging, that's what helps make the sale. And the messaging happens all the way through. So you're not suddenly at the point of sale trying to sell to someone. You don't need to be, because they already want to work with you. They've already decided they're the right fit for you. They've already decided what you've got is the right fit for them. And it's just a matter of the final piece of the puzzle, the handshake. That's what messaging can do for you. Without messaging, what's happening is often discounting, and your clients are price sensitive. because they're looking at features and benefits, and they're comparing features and benefits of someone else's offer and trying to compare the two of you. Whereas with messaging, you've created an airtight argument. You've created complete logical sense. And they know 100% that working with you is going to be the best choice for them. So it's a value-based decision, which means it's not price sensitive. And they have that desire for the outcome because you've been able to help them not only believe in the outcome, believe that it's possible for them, and know that it's possible for them when they work with you. That makes sense. Are you guys this resonating with you? Kaz is saying an aha moment for me right now, which is awesome. Charlene said, exactly, to love what you teach, you need to teach what you know and love with leadership. Yes, 100%. Being that respected authority, it does require you to get a bit serious and step up and step into that space. So number 4, we're going through these a little bit faster than I did on day 1 and 2. Number 4 is your marketing system. This is the 4th ingredient. And the purpose of this is growing an audience of your ideal 5-star clients and getting them ready to buy from you. Firstly, there's some marketing myths we're just going to address right up front, because a lot of people are sitting there thinking they need a big audience first. I need a big audience before I can make sales. I need lots of engagement to make sales. Or I need to post multiple times a day. Whatever it is, there's more myths out there. I need to be doing this or that. It's often around social media, I find. Most people are really focused in on social media as being the be all and end all. And it's absolutely not. There's so many other ways that you can market your business. It's about choosing the right one for you. And you don't need these volume-based methods if your business isn't a volume sales business. If you only need to work with a couple of clients a month, then why do you need a method where you need to create this huge big audience? You don't need those numbers. You only need, so you should be designing your marketing system to suit your business and to be what's right for you. It's not about just doing lots of marketing activities either. We're not just saying, I'm going to do email and I'm going to do social media and I'll throw some ads out there and maybe I'll try an event. It's not about just doing them and they're all these different things that you're doing. That is being scattered. Rather, it's being strategic about what you choose to do so that everything has a clear purpose and moves people to where they need to be. Phases of your marketing system, essentially, and you will know this if you've ever done any kind of marketing training. This is not something brand new. However, most people are missing a lot of pieces in there. So let's go over it again. You've got people out there, your ideal customer is out there somewhere. You need an activity or activities to bring them into your audience. You're going to have an audience platform, which is where you create your audience. You can have one, you might have one or two. You don't need to be everywhere. You need to be strategic about where you're building your audience, what is right for your business. So the activities you're doing to get people to that audience building platform are aligned in getting them there. Then go from audience to traffic. This is about having calls to action, having ways to bring your audience from wherever they are, connecting with you as your audience. Maybe it's on social media, maybe it's your podcast, maybe it's in your email inbox. There's a lot of different places that you can kind of have an audience where they've decided to listen to you and to be connected to you. You want to turn them into traffic. So there's a way that they are taking a step and actually coming into your business, into your website, taking a next step, and then turning them into a lead. So the call to action next is, how do I take the person who's in my audience, who's browsing through, and then becoming an actual lead? Now, someone who's following you on social media is not a lead. They are a follower. They're in your audience. They may not even be traffic yet. So if all you're doing is focusing on building your social media audience, then you're missing these other steps in your marketing system, which is why you may not be getting those sales, because someone doesn't go from just being in an audience to making a sale. Very, very rarely. They need to go through this process where you are bringing them on that journey. If you've got gaps in the system, then that's why the system isn't working. So what we're doing people who have their system nailed, they're delivering content and strategic content with messaging at the right stages to shift people to where they need to be. When they don't know you yet, they're probably in confusion, overwhelmed, they've got lots of self-doubt, they're making all these mistakes. They may not even know what their problem is. They might be oblivious to the fact they've got a problem. They might know they've got a problem, have no idea how to solve it. They're in this place where they don't know. You want to shift them through to somewhere where they know what their problem is and know what the solution is, which isn't, by the way, your service or product. It's actually your way of doing it. And then they're ready to hear about how they can get that solution, which is through you with your service, program, whatever it is that you're offering. This is what your marketing system is doing. It's taking them from confusion, overwhelm, having a problem that you want to solve, to being clear on what you need to do and ready to take action. So the next step clearly is making the sale. So they're ready to take action. How do you then get them to take action? So we're wanting those real leads consistently coming in and then making sales with minimal effort, really, and zero sleaze. And if you've got your marketing system right, and actually you've got these other 4 ingredients in this recipe in place and they're aligned and they're working, then the sales piece is actually really, really simple and short and not awkward at all, because they're ready already. Now, here are some ineffective approaches to sales. Number 1 is people who are sitting there thinking, I'm building a business. So I've got my website, I've listed on some directories out there, and now I'm sitting back and waiting for the clients to turn up. Okay, that's clearly like a way that I don't even know when it worked, if it ever did, but you need to be doing something to bring the clients to you. You can't just build it and expect that people will come. So doing nothing is very ineffective. Number 2 is where we're just like on social media, kind of having fun and kind of being out there, but without really ever talking about your offer, without letting people know what it is that you do and how you can help them. And when you're doing that, people might be loving to engage with you. And I see this sometimes, influencers are a great example. They've got a great big audience. People are following them and it's all lovely, but they're not selling anything. And that's because they've actually got no connection between their audience and their offer. And they don't have the other piece of the puzzle. They've got no messaging that's creating desire and addressing any objections people might have. They've got no marketing and sales system. They've just built an audience. And so that's really ineffective as well. Number 3, straight to the sale. So we all have experienced that, the direct DM, the cold email, the old door-to-door sales, which is the picture I've got here. Someone knocks on your door, hey, buy this. It's like, whoa, you're just interrupting my day. I don't have any desire for what it is that you're offering, and they're trying to sell to you. The number of times I just do not answer my phone anymore when I see a number I don't recognize, because without a doubt, it is someone in a call center trying to sell me something I don't want. And I'm not going to buy it. Like, when I want something, I'm in the place ready to buy. I don't want someone putting up, telling me, trying to convince me of whatever it is that they're selling, that I should have it. And gosh, the amount of ineffective time I see people spending doing this. I get emails all the time with someone pitching to me that, I've got this great system for that. They don't even know whether I need that or not. They haven't even ascertained if I'm the right person, if I've got that problem. They're just pitching me a solution to a problem they don't even know if I have or have not. Now, can you imagine how many times they need to make that pitch before they actually find someone who potentially is either really gullible or maybe actually has that problem right now and is ready and thinking about how they solve it? Now, that's a really, really hard way to make sales. So if you've got, a million hours and lots of time in the world, then maybe you could do that, because eventually you'll find someone. But I know I've had people even contact me and say, well, how do you do it? And I said, well, how often are you getting a sale through that? And this guy said, I get a reply from someone once every 50 emails. And that's just a reply. That's not a sale. So it's like, that's a lot of effort for not much reward. Very ineffective. Number 4 is people waiting for referrals. So, I'm sitting there and just waiting for someone else to deliver it to me. And, as I said before, that's really giving your entire business's viability, future, to someone else's hands to be spoon feeding to you. Well, if that's not any kind of approach to having a business. Referrals are fantastic, but they are really a supporting mechanism for you. So you should have your own stream of clients, your own way to get your own clients. And if you get referrals, they're just like the cherry on top. That is a bonus, because how often do you get, if you know referrals, how often are they great quality ones, the real right fit? And what I've seen with my clients who have been really reliant on referrals is that when they're trying to run a business like that, because referrals are coming in from different places, they're different people, there's no core premise, there's no message that's drawn them in, they've all got different needs. And so you're in that place of always customizing every proposal, customizing every price. Then you need customized systems, onboarding. And that is the weight that weighs you down and actually stops you from being able to be profitable within school hours. It's what creates a really burdensome business. Plus, as we said, you might be in that feast and famine where you don't know from 1 month to the next whether you're going to have clients or not. And so you feel pressured to be saying yes to whoever walks in the door rather than being able to pick and choose the best client for you. Number 5 is teaching content, teaching how-to content as a way to build credibility and trust, and thinking that leads to a sale. Well, it doesn't, unless you are doing that as just one part of an entire strategy and attaching messaging to it. Now, how-to content anyone can do, and often that's what we're doing on YouTube. We're Googling, like, how do I do this? How do I do that? You might be that person that's giving information, but it's really, you're just becoming an information source, a bit like Wikipedia or, your favorite YouTube channel. That's not creating desire and demand for your offering. That might be helping you get in front of people. Maybe that's a way that you might gather people into your audience, but that's just the first piece of your marketing system, as we saw before. So what are you doing then to actually bring them through and bring them through is create that desire and demand for your offer, address objections. You need to have other things that are happening, and how-to content is not a strategy on its own. The final one, number 6, the old promoter, promotion everywhere. And this really just wears out an audience really quickly if all they hear is promotion and or you're just dropping into Facebook groups and sharing a promo where there's no connection already or relevance. I saw just this week, and I shared it in my my Facebook group, My Tribe. There was somebody who created a post in a group that I'm in, and it said, I've just put together a list of, I think it was like 130 something Facebook groups that you can promote your business in. Who wants it? And firstly, that whole thing is just ridiculous from their point of view, because they're obviously using that as a lead magnet. So what are the kind of people they're trying to attract with this lead magnet of Facebook groups you can promote in? People who've got no strategy, who just want to be splattering things and who want a freebie. That's not targeted or tailored to a specific type of business owner either. So they're just getting garbage basically in their lead funnel. But the incredible thing was there were so many people putting up their hands saying, I want it. And I just thought, so this is your strategy? You're just going to find random Facebook groups and go and post a promo in them and just hope that someone who sees it is going to come along and buy from you? Like, that is a massive, massive waste of time. 130 Facebook groups. You could just spend your whole day or week doing that, scrolling groups, looking for leads. Like, please, let's just think, how can you be more strategic than that? That's an incredible waste of time and energy. So I actually just wanted to say one other thing around this as well with sales. So it is really simple. Lead becomes a client, and often you just need a simple process to have that happen. It might be that once they're a lead, the next step is a discovery call. Maybe you're doing it via email. It's often a very, very simple step, but you do need a process around it, because it doesn't stop with whatever that first thing is, whether it's a call or whether it's an email. There's always got to be the follow-up. The sales is a process, 100%. And if you have a clear process that includes follow-up, then, as they all say, the fortune is in the follow-up. That's where it happens. That is successful sales. It's not about coercing someone to buy your stuff who doesn't need it. What sales really is inviting someone who does need what you offer, but maybe they've got they might have a hesitation to it. They might have something that could be stopping them. It's helping them to work through that. And ideally, you've done that objection handling before you're actually at the point of sale, before you're having that sales conversation. But it's really just inviting them to make that decision and choice, and giving them the information that they need to make the right decision for them. Now, people often worry about sleaze with sales, and we attach sleazy to sales all the time. I just want to leave this thought with you about that, because it's not sales that's sleazy, it's a person that's sleazy. And a sleazy person, of course, is a sleazy salesperson. That's what they are, that's who they are. If you're not sleazy, then why would you be a sleazy salesperson? And the very fact that you're probably worried about being sleazy, to me, just shows that you're not sleazy, because a sleazy person wouldn't be worried about being sleazy. A sleazy person just is sleazy. They're not worried about whether they are or not, because they're not concerned about it. If you're concerned about it, then you're not. And so instead of being afraid of doing sales because you're afraid of being sleazy, I'd love you to really today think, I'm not sleazy, and all I'm doing is inviting someone who needs my help to make that choice. And whether they do or they don't is their choice, it's their decision. It doesn't mean that you're no good. It doesn't mean anything. It just means that maybe they weren't ready yet. Maybe they've still got a but that's holding them back. But you can help someone to make that decision. And by making the offer to them, inviting them to join you, to sign up with you, you're passing them the olive branch to help them get out of the lake they're drowning in. You're offering it to them. It's up to them whether they take it or not. It's not about pressure. It's not about coercion. It's not about making someone want to buy something they don't need. They are not even in your audience. They're not your ideal customer because they don't need it, and they will have self-selected out a long time ago. So if someone is there having the conversation with you, it's because they do need what it is that you're offering. And they're in that decision process, and they might be confused. They might have hesitation or objections. And if you can be thinking, well, what are these? objections that they could have, or what is the confusion? And if you can eliminate confusion, eliminate objections, which is usually just their own either misconception or lack of understanding, then they're able to take that step forward. And so that is, I guess, the piece that I wanted to leave with you today about the sale. It is not sleazy to be doing sales. And if you don't have a sales process, then that's a key reason why your business isn't where you need it to be. Charlene was saying she saw that post that I was talking about. Yes, absolutely. Now, you might be thinking, this is all making a lot of sense, but I don't have time to do this strategy work, Jess. I can see that I've got work to do now. Maybe I've made a really good logical argument here about what these 5 pieces, these 5 ingredients are, how they fit together, why each of them is important. We can't miss one out and not have it, because none of it will work then. If we don't have the sales process, you're not going to be making the sales. If you don't have the marketing, you're not getting the people to actually make the sale too. And if you don't have the other pieces, then nobody's coming through because they're not clear that it's for them. You don't have an offer that's right for them, and the messaging isn't landing because it's probably not even messaging. It's probably just copy. But the real reason that you don't have time is because you haven't got your strategy aligned. So can you see that when you've got these 5 pieces aligned, you've actually got an efficient business? You've got a business where it's working, where the right people are finding you. You're not wasting time on discovery calls with people who are never going to buy from you. If you don't get that strategy aligned and working in sync, your business will continue to feel like you're juggling lots of balls in the air. It's hard work. It's time consuming. You're customizing. You're doing all of these things, and you're not getting enough time to be earning, or you're not getting the right clients to be earning enough in the time that you've got. We can be looking at the money aspect, 10K per month with hundreds of clients, or 10K per month with just a few. And by getting this strategy right, you can be having that easy, breezy method and not be having to try to win lots of clients at a low rate just to scrape by and make ends meet. Now, I have got for you a little secret ingredient today, and I did have someone ask, am I going to cover this? And you got it. It's my secret ingredient in the JAM plan. And it's not a separate thing on its own, because it is within these other ingredients, and it is streamlining. Streamlining means automating. It also could be delegating, and it could be deleting. And when we're taking this approach and you're being shown how to streamline your marketing, your sales, using the other elements, it's going to take a lot of time out of your day. Now, with automation, what we're thinking about there, it's not just about technology, but it's about, can you template something in your business? Can you make a system around it, a process around it? Because when you're doing that, it is reducing the amount of energy you're expending every time you have to do it. Because why, when you've got a highly customized offering, customization in your business, it takes you a lot more energy because you've got to think about it every time. If you're coming up with pricing every time you're working with a new client and thinking about it every time, how much time is that taking you even to just put a price out to one client? Whereas when you've created templates like a package, you've created your service offering. Yes, you might have add-ons, you might have options that can help to suit those what ifs, what if. People might have an additional need. But when you know who you're working with and you're really defined and you know what it is you want to deliver, you can actually create a templated service offering which has a price on it. So you do that work once, you think about it, you get strategic, you set it, then you've got it. You don't need to keep thinking about it every time you're doing it. You're taking away so much time and energy when you're able to create that template or the systemized approach. And the same with your marketing system, your sales system. When you've created that strategy so that people can self-serve, they can find you themselves, they can come to your site, they can book in a time to meet with you without needing to make contact, go back and forward. Every time you're making something easier and someone can self-serve, they are much more likely to do it. Every step that you make someone take, you've got drop-off. And that's whether it's filling in a form. Everything that you add to a form makes them less likely to fill it in. Every step that they've got to take, every hoop they've got to jump through just to take progress towards even buying from you makes it less likely that they will, even if they think that you're the right person. People are busy. So the more you can automate and streamline it, the more successful, the more time you'll get back in your business, but also just the easier you're making it for everybody. And this leads to something I'm very passionate about. It's customer experience. When you can have something that's the best customer experience, and often that means you're making life easy for the other person. So it's not just about your service makes life easier for them. Actually, the process of working with you makes life easy because you've taken away things that are hard. If they can sign up on your website, pay online, do that all in one step without needing you, that's easy. If the payments get automated, so they don't have to remember and log into their bank every month and pay something. If it's the same payment every month, make it automated for them, streamline it so that it's easier for them. That all adds to the experience that you're giving. Melissa, one of my clients who I told you a bit of her story the other day as well, but she not only, was able to repitch and reposition her services to increase her revenue by 300%, her profit by 500%. It was actually about, as well, for her with a new baby at home, reducing her customization. So actually setting the price so she wasn't creating it every single time, setting up the processes and the systems back end and the technology so that her admin time was very much reduced and she could spend her time that she had, the limited time, actually on servicing the customers, on bringing in the money for her business. And when you're doing that, you might have seen that I put on the previous slide, one of the things you can do is delegate. You might be thinking, well, I'd love to outsource or delegate, but I don't have the money to do that. Well, imagine when you have got a premium offering, you're bringing in more money per client, you've got the ability to delegate. You've got more ability to take more off your plate by delegating to a VA or somebody who you might bring in to help support you in your business, or even to invest in the best systems. I start off my business using the platform I have today. I've had a couple of iterations, but I've invested in the platform I have today because it gives a great experience. It saves me time. It saves my clients time as well. And so for me, that's a really great investment. And so I'm investing that money that I'm earning in making my life easier. Does that make sense? Is that, do you see how that would work for you? Let me know in the comments. Charlene says, that's right. Focus on helping someone. Don't be reliant on the outcome money. If they want the result, you can give them, then they will become a client. Exactly. 100%. It's not about I'm trying to sell me for this amount. No, you're selling your ability to help someone get to that outcome. And so this is the full picture of the jam plan. So you've got the 5 ingredients, they're lined together with my special secret ingredient in the middle, the automation. We've got niche, we've got service, we've got branded messaging, we've got marketing and sales. They help you create a specialized market positioning, attract those right clients, you sell profitable services, increase retention, reduce your overheads and your admin time, and ultimately that all gives you the business life balance that's right for you. Whether that's working 20 hours a week or if it's 10 hours a week, 30 hours, you decide. But this system and the way that we do it, the step-by-step approach, helps you design your business to be what it is that you actually want. Now you've got a choice to make. So are you going to be that type of person who's, operates from that lack and that doubt, the fear, competes on price, stays stuck in freelancer zone? Or are you going to choose to see the opportunity and the lessons that you've just been through these 3 sessions and, really create your space as a respected authority so that you're able to book the clients that you really want to be working with and just be working the hours that you want to work? Make your business easier for you, make it help support the life that you want to be living. Are you maybe going to be that person, hopefully not, who avoids taking the actions that are necessary and stays stuck on the treadmill, thinking about the destination, or still stays stuck in the confusion of, I just still don't know how to get there? Or are you going to be the type of person who is ready to take action now that you have that recipe? You know what it is that you need to do. And finally, I guess this is the real thing. Are you going to be the type of person who invests your time into attending trainings to get the key to the business that you really want to create, but then does nothing with it? Or are you going to be the type who takes that key and opens the door? Because if that's you, if you're the type who's going to take the key and open the door, then I'm waiting behind the door in Business Jam with the actual step-by-step method of how you align all of those ingredients together for your business to create that outcome that you actually want without the trial and error. We all know what happens when we could take ingredients and trial and error and try to make that outcome ourselves versus when we've got the recipe with steps and the exact measurements so that we can get the outcome or the cake that rises and looks fantastic versus the disaster. I know I've definitely been that person before. I have tried to make it myself without a recipe or without following the steps or the ingredients. So, I could tell you about Business Jam, but I think that my clients do a much better job of it than I do. Hannah, she has said never before has meeting made more sense than the way you explained it in Business Jam. She knows that she's not excluding anyone. She's actually choosing who she works best with. And now she's not afraid to share that she works with the high-achieving creatives anymore. So that's who she wants to work with. That's who she helps excel. And together, they get the incredible results, which means that she has incredible stories to share. The success of her clients is her success in her business. Joanne said marketing was something that she really wanted to focus on in 2020. And as a result of Business Jam, she was able to really reevaluate her business, refine that ideal customer and her messaging suit. And she increased her clarity around pricing and processes so that she's been able to scale her business and attract in the work that she wanted to do rather than being the go-to person for anything and being really unclear about what that space is in the market. She's now she's a marketing systems guru. So she is a WordPress designer, but she helps people connect the website with their other technology systems, which is really what she loves to do. Sally was previously too dependent on referrals, and she'd been in business for 10 years and more. She was not generating her own clients and afraid to raise her prices. But even within the process of going through Business Jam as a VIP, she did the 10-week VIP experience with me where we do weekly coaching. And she got the confidence to raise her prices just by 33% initially. And so by the time she finished Business Jam, she was paying herself a salary that felt abundant to her, and she had funds to reinvest back into her business. She was looking at how she could get support, how she could have a VA to delegate and outsource some of the things that did not light her up. And so having that and knowing who her ideal client is means that she's now building her client system, her marketing system, bringing clients to her directly rather than being reliant on referrals. Georgina said that one of the biggest lessons that she learned was to focus on herself and not base her business on what her competitors were doing. So uncovering her unique value, how she approached it, was instrumental in being able to change the way that she offered her service and raise her prices. She went from being just another resume writer and trying to just find people who wanted a resume written to actually working with people who she wanted to work with, who she could help take that next step in their career and actually get the role that would progress them forward. And at the level of client that she really wanted to work with. It wasn't just about tarting up a resume. It was actually about helping someone be strategic in getting the role they wanted. And that meant that she was able to raise her prices and create a 4-figure package, which, when she sold her first one, December, she was just ecstatic. And that was in December 2020, because she actually did Business Jam with me in 2020. Miranda increased her revenue by 170% just in 60 days. And that was from making some small changes to niche down on what she did. She was a copywriter. She's now a respected awards writer and strategist. And she helps people with that social proof through awards, testimonials, and case studies. So she's got really defined on what it is that she does best. And it's reduced overwhelm. It's reduced her non-billable time. And for her, easily the best decision she's ever made. Just recently, she got asked to become the vice president of her local chamber of commerce, which is an absolute credit to her place as a respected authority now. It's being seen as someone who's a credible authority in business and not someone who's just there as a freelancer taking on odd jobs with copy. And what a transformation she's had. Claudia, she launched her third business through Business Jam. And even though she'd had 2 businesses before, she had been scattered with her marketing previously. And through creating packages and then also having that clear plan where every marketing activity she was choosing to do had a specific purpose, she was able to launch her business to just 4 people on her Facebook page and still gain the clients. That meant she was paid off her investment in just 2 months. She was instantly profitable in this new business. And she had time because she wasn't doing marketing activities that weren't working for her, that weren't designed to bring the people that she needed to her business. So she could have that lifestyle where she was more present with her son and not missing out on the important moments, not needing to have him in daycare full time. She could have him at home and have the business that was supporting the life she wanted. So it's for her the best investment that she's made. And she was one of my 2020 alumni as well. Now it's not open. This is not a sales pitch. I will tell you all about Business Jam on Monday, 28th of February. The doors open at 9 a.m. and I will do a Q&A. You'll get sent a link to the page with information about Business Jam and really, what it is, what's inside it. I will do a Q&A so I can answer any of your questions as well. Now, if you know already that you want the Jam plan, you want the step-by-step method, you want me to help you with that, then you can jump straight to the front of the queue. You can get on my VIP waitlist and you will actually get an email before everybody else gets it. You will get first choice to join Business Jam and be at the front of the queue. And this year, you're probably going to want to do that if you like the sound of doing the VIP experience, which is where I do 10 weeks of live coaching with my VIPs, and there are limited spots for that. So by being on the VIP waitlist, you do get first dibs, first access to take one of those spots, and you'll also get the early bird special offer as well. So you can get on the waitlist by going to jessicaosborne.com/businessjam. Make sure you're on the list, and then you'll be first in line to get that email when it happens. So that is it for today. Does anybody have any questions for me while we're on the call? Because I'm all yours. I'm here to answer your questions on any of the content that we had today. Please shout me out, drop a comment in the notes, and I will answer your questions. I might stop sharing my screen now. Look at me. I'm back. Thank you so much for being here and joining me. I really appreciate your presence. I hope that you've enjoyed this series as much as I've enjoyed bringing it to you. As you can see, it's what I absolutely love. It is also, this is the model that I run my own business on. So this is not just something I've created. This is how I built my business. This is how I help my clients. Through Business Jam, through my elite program, the Momentum Club, and even my one-to-one clients, all get the same method. It is what works. It is what makes it easy. And my clients are generally all mums or people who want to work on a part-time basis. It's about making that business successful in the time that you've got, so that you're able to work less and earn more. That's, essentially gives you the freedom in your lifestyle that we all really crave. I certainly know that I do. Tamsin needs to dash, no worries. Thanks, Tamsin. Thanks for joining. If you've got any questions about anything, I'm really here, open, ready to answer any questions that you might have. If it's something we covered today, the brand and messaging, the marketing system, the sales system, or even the secret sauce or the automation, I'm very happy to answer your questions if you have one. Otherwise, I will open up a thread in the group, and you can pop your questions in there. If you think of something later on today or tonight and you want to ask, then you can reach out to me. Kaz says, I'll send you a message in a little while. Thank you. Thanks, Melissa. Thanks so much for joining, everyone. It's great. It's a really great day. It would be better if it was blue sky out the window, but I've got rain. So I won't be going to the beach after this to chill out. I think I have to do some kind of indoor R&R. But I appreciate your time being here. Thank you. So it looks like no one's got any questions. Thank you so much, everyone. I will close this off now, and I'll see you in the group. So chat soon. Bye. Join me for my free 3-part live series. It's called Master Your Marketing, and you'll discover the 5 ingredients to aligning your message and your offering around your unique value, so that you're working with 5-star clients, attracting them easily, growing profits, and ultimately enjoying real flexibility in your life to spend time doing whatever matters most to you. Head over to jessicaosborne.com/masteryourmarketing to register now and make sure that you don't miss out on this live series. I'm so excited. I absolutely cannot wait to bring it to you. When I ran this last year, I had people saying comments like, wow, light bulbs are going off. I love this. And, you've given me so much to think about. So you don't want to miss this. Master Your Marketing is starting on the week of 20th of February. So mark your calendars right now and make sure you register. The place to register again is jessicaosborne.com/masteryourmarketing. And get in there and register. Even if it's already started, you can still register. You can still get access to the replays, to the workbook, and get involved in the whole series. It's happening for the whole week, and it's going to be amazing. So make sure you've got it in your calendar. Mark it right now. 20th of February, that's the Sunday, so that week of is when this live series is running. And I really can't wait to get involved with you. It's going to be interactive. There'll be lots of fun. So come and join me online, and let's master your marketing this year.